I've been playing this game for the last 3 days, and it is an awesome roguelite action activity. You should totally play it if challenging and fair mobile games are up your alley. In this review, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Otherworld Legends. Here is a friendly note for you. If you're having some troubles understanding me, this video has subtitles. And before we actually start, check out this stuff. So, let's start. While I was waiting for more new and interesting games for my indie games review series, I've decided to play Otherworld Legends, and I surprisingly had a blast. Actually, I've seen the game before and was avoiding it, because I thought that it should have some heavy, in-app or ad monetization, and I was mistaken about it. There surely are some tricks to make you pay or watch advertisements, but nothing really game-breaking. And there is a reason for that. Otherworld Legends is a new game by Chili Room. It is a studio behind Soul Knight, which is another massively popular action roguelite mobile game with a challenging and fair feel that isn't impacted by aggressive monetizing practices. Well, Chili Room is alright, and let's return to me having my fun with Otherworld Legends. And I was sucked in almost instantly because of responsive combat, reasonable challenges, great pixel art visuals and gameplay variety. The game is clearly was made with a lot of attention to detail, despite it may have some unpleasant flaws, but later about that. What is great is that your skill really matters here, and you don't really need to upgrade your characters to actually progress in Otherworld Legends. Even more, you can significantly upgrade your stats in between the sessions, so the game doesn't become easier as you progress, and the game can't really push you into pain because of that. Instead of that, you need to master your mechanical skill and game knowledge, and the game is somewhat deep. A player need not only learn how a character works mechanically, they also need to learn how to combine that with different items found in the run, and there are a lot of different combinations out there. So, the gameplay consists not only out of fast skill-based skirmishes, but also of some strategic inventory management. That creates the gameplay where a player has to actually choose what they should use considering their situation. And those decisions can really determine the outcome of a fight. And the bosses, they are especially interesting here, since every single boss has their unique abilities and fight patterns, which you will have to learn if you want to proceed in Otherworld Legends. Bosses will often require a specific tactic, and a good item build will make it easier for you too. And what is great is that you know upfront which boss you will fight at the end of a level. Knowing that, a player can really prepare for that fight and make a right build for themselves. Each run evolves from just screw up everyone into get right build to get through this level efficiently. I also should say that all locations and enemies in them are pretty different and detailed. The game looks lovely, especially if you don't puke after seeing a bunch of pixels. And I guess now we should admit some things that are unpleasant and even fucked up. The first crazy thing I want to tell about is that Chili Room seems to fuck up the monetization system, since the game can't remember if you bought something and then deleted the game. A lot of people became upset, judging by a big text box in the main menu, explaining that case and some compensations they gave to the players recently. They should be working on that now, since the problem looks just tremendous from my point of view. Another few issues are less traumatic. The tutorial isn't that good and there's a lot of uncertainty in general. A lot of game mechanics are not very well explained, and you have to learn everything by yourself. For some people it is a nice thing, but I feel like some parts of the game could be explained better. Here is an example. Descriptions of that item are pretty unclear. Which buff do I get? This floating guy is the buff. How does it work? Who knows? This guy just hovers there, and I know shit about the real effect. That is very, very displeasing. Sometimes you can't clearly understand how the item works, even after using that item for a few minutes. I would really like if Chili Room would improve on that. So, here is a small summary. Why should you play this game? Of course, the final choice is yours, but this is a free and pretty fair action game with a lot of depth, variety and challenge to keep you engaged for quite a while. So I would totally suggest you try Otherworld Legends out if you are into the action roguelike genre. And you should know that despite the game is fair and free, it won't let you have some of the characters until you pay. That is unnecessary though, and the game is perfectly playable without spicing it up with that type of variety. Well, I hope that you liked my small review. Thank you for staying with me for that long. The greatest way to say thanks is to press the like button down there. And maybe leave a comment if you are generous enough. Stay awesome, play some games, and see ya! That's all. Nothing more here, maybe just my other videos.